Guys, if I said this YouTuber's OG name before it was Ryan Higa, if I said his name, I think I would get banned on Twitch today. But we have a video called How YouTube Failed Ryan Higa. One of the most, influential OGs of YouTube.
I was getting frustrated with the way YouTube had become. I always believed that
Yes, N-word Higa, basically. It's crazy that his name was that.
you should focus on quality and not quantity. But in the past 5 or 6 years, YouTube changed that a lot.
This is Ryan Higa, better known as Niga Higa.
Jesus Christ. That whole talk about quality, not quantity, there's different pros and cons, right? My channel is definitely quantity. It's not quality, right? It's simple, easy reactions, one take, no script. But there's also channels that take like months to prepare a script and make a video. And those also scale way harder than the I guess, less quality, quantity volumes that videos that I make. Different strategies for everybody. There's different ways to thrive on YouTube.
Niga Higa. Ryan is a YouTube OG and was the second YouTuber to ever cross 1 million subscribers.
Wow.
But as his channel grew, so did YouTube. And he soon realized that the very website he helped pioneer was rapidly evolving from the platform he once considered home.
I really have been considering quitting YouTube. I just wasn't having fun making YouTube videos anymore.
I found that I wasn't creating things that I was happy about.
Changes to YouTube's policies, algorithm, and culture presented Ryan with challenges, including burnout, creative blocks, and a general dissatisfaction with the direction the platform was headed.
I mean, I think that's natural, especially for a guy that is decades into a career of content creation. With the platform also changing what's allowed and what's not allowed, your creative freedom is going to become more restricted and you're going to want to do something else entirely. It doesn't really feel like you're making videos for fun, but rather trying to align to what YouTube is demanding. I see him streaming Valorant with a lot of, OTV adjacent people on Twitch, and it looks like he's just having fun there.
The fact that we are even talking about this shows what's wrong with YouTube.
He's expressed these feelings in some of his videos, as well as on various podcasts. And since April 24th, 2020, he has stopped uploading to his main channel altogether. In this video, I'm going to cover how YouTube's changes over time disrupted Ryan's video making process, why these changes conflicted with his motivations as a creator, and where this has all led him today. And at the end, I'll discuss what this all means for the future of the platform. This is the story of how YouTube failed Ryan Higa.
Let's hear it.
And they promote the whole be yourself thing.
They do promote that, but it's like, okay, well, be yourself, but be the self that we want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's very nuanced take. The whole be yourself thing. What if you're like a Nazi enjoyer, right? People that really trend in the lines of TOS. Do you know who Filthy Frank is? Filthy Frank and the boys, back in the day, the type of videos they would make before the adpocalypse on YouTube happened, shit was so edgy, right? In order to appease the advertisers, this is where the be yourself doesn't really align. You need to kind of chill down a little bit, You need to appease the advertisers. Don't do so much fucking edgy content.
Beginning in 2006, Ryan Higa was among the first generation of YouTubers.
Bro, look at that, man. That's also... His style? Asian. I didn't realize that there's a certain style of video called Asian.
And throughout his decade-plus long career, has developed a reputation as one of the most genuine creators in the history of the platform. Rarely abiding by trends, never involving himself in any drama, and always prioritizing quality over quantity.
Right.
The thing I really cared about was putting out good content and stuff that I was excited and happy to make.
And anyone familiar with Ryan's work will tell you that his videos were always some of the most creative and unique content on the platform. From lip syncs and rants to skits, vlogs, music, short films, podcasts.
I remember some of his films back in the day. I haven't watched all of his content, but yeah, he made a lot of good content, man.
Stop motion, he's pretty much done it all. And in an era of YouTube that was about broadcasting yourself, Ryan Higa was truly the embodiment of that slogan. But whatever happened to that slogan anyway?
Tell me.
Our users were already one step ahead of us. They began using YouTube to share videos of all kinds. We found this very interesting. We said, why don't we just let the users define what YouTube is all about?
Okay.
In December 2005, YouTube debuted the slogan "Broadcast Yourself." This perfectly reflected the platform's culture of embracing self-expression.
Yo, these videos are older than most of you in chat.
In YouTube's early days, creators made the content they wanted to make, spoke freely, and didn't feel constrained by the demands of advertisers.
Yo, the OG YouTube legends, man. It truly was a fundamentally different platform. You can't even recognize the UI, let alone, you know, these creators as they've aged over the years. This is PewDiePie, man.
Or the algorithm. But around April 2010, things began to change. The slogan was taken off the logo, dropped from the webpage title in October 2012,
No more broadcast
and removed
yourself.
from YouTube's blog for good in May 2019.
Okay.
Perhaps not so coincidentally, YouTube's decision to phase out this slogan happened following the peak of the adpocalypse.
There it is. This is the event, man. The adpocalypse, where no longer can you truly just be yourself. In the beginning, of course, when your product is growing, you don't really care about, you know, you're allowed to get away with a lot more, like what Kick is doing right now, right? You see how they're focusing on trying to build the audience as much as you can. In order to do that, you give people as much as creative freedom as possible. You know, random slurs, you know, racism, whatever, like all these different edgy shit, you know. Sometimes there is a place and time for it in terms of like dark and edgy humor, and there's a lot of content like that back in the day. But obviously, as a product gets too big, it seems to got, you know, to a point where now advertisers are, you know, threatening to pull out. They changed the TOS, and now you can't just go around making videos that is just about yourself, especially if yourself is kind of, you know, playing on that line of dark humor.
A period of time when advertisers began pulling their ads from the platform over concerns about them appearing next to controversial or edgy content.
Yep.
This led to stricter policies regarding what content could be monetized, and as a result, content that included things like profanity, political subjects, and graphic content were effectively censored through demonetization or age restriction. This had an impact across the entire platform, forcing creators like Ryan to adapt their content to the new advertiser-friendly guidelines if they wanted to continue to get paid through YouTube.
Now there's so many rules on YouTube. Most of the ideas that I put up got demonetized or age restricted.
Well, it's because those ideas, like, listen, censorship is cringe, absolutely, but there's still a lot of people making all kinds of content online and that are fully monetized. If you're really trying to play in, you know, in the lines of, you know, content that talks about racism, you know, racist remarks, or just like edgy humor or anything involving slurs and stuff like that, like, yeah, probably you're gonna get fucked for doing that.
Because it's like dangerous things or gross things.
I didn't want to put anything close to a swear word in here, even put the beep sound in because I don't want to get demonetized.
I don't know what's happening back then, but I can just say fuck all I want. I can also say retard all I want. But there's a specific word though that triggers the limited ads for me, and it's the C word, Uchi. A word that, you know, also sounds just like Blue Turtle's name in Tower of God. For whatever word, that word specifically will always trigger limited ads for me.
I was holding back so many different things that I really wanted to make. I just was too afraid to do it. Videos that I know for a fact that a lot of you guys probably not like or understand or most likely be offensive. The kind of videos I used to make when I first started YouTube.
By this point, it was clear that YouTube was no longer just about broadcasting yourself. So for someone like Ryan, who came up in a time where it was, I can understand how this would be a difficult time to go through. Ryan has spoken out against censorship in the past and is someone who strives to stay true to himself in his work.
I never used to feel like this. I never felt like I couldn't be
Yourself.
Yeah, I would have to dumb down the content and take jokes that I thought was funny and kill them for myself.
Right. Yeah, the jokes that would work in the, you know, back in the day no longer is, you know, politically correct, or, you know, things are a lot more sensitive now, right?
To make it good for other people. And I used to hurt, like it literally hurt me.
Even in his book, there are several instances where Ryan hints at disagreements between him and his publishing company over censorship of the more dark and not so family-friendly parts of his life story. No creative likes to be censored, and for some, adjusting their work to fit within new constraints comes easier than for others. But Ryan isn't recognized as such a genuine YouTuber for no reason. So I can see how having to work under these conditions, making videos that you know don't fully represent you for so long.
Yeah, it feels suffocating. You can't now, you know, show everyone every side of you. But I think there's also an important question to ask of, you know, are those sides of you actually that important and like that integral if that content, that stuff gets censored immediately? You gotta kind of ask, like, what sides are you actually trying to show? I don't want to, you know, play defense for the whole censorship and the apocalypse and stuff like that. But a lot of people are still able to express themselves very well. I mean, here's an example. Let's say Asmongold. You see his commentary videos on YouTube all the time. The shit that he says, you would think that that shit would get censored. It doesn't. Right? A lot of people still have the freedom of speech to say pretty much what they want. It's just the moment that you start talking about like, the moment that you have anything that's too edgy, right? Really like OG dark humor back in the day, that's when it starts to get flagged. So I feel like, yes, it's suffocating that you can't be all yourself, but you should really ask yourself like, what kind of shot are you really trying to show? Asmongold is just too big to stifle. Ryan Higa is way bigger than Asmongold though. At least was. Not anymore, because obviously, you know, he's definitely focused on different types of content and have, you know, done different stuff while Asmongold has been just growing and growing. But no, I don't think this is, you know, success is the thing. That I don't think it's that.
Can lead to issues like burnout, creative blocks, and a general disliking for the rule makers. But this wasn't the only problem Ryan had with YouTube. It turns out that YouTube discontinued its broadcast yourself slogan just a day after its parent company lost over $70 billion in market cap. A loss that was attributed to changes in YouTube's algorithm that were reportedly efforts to moderate harmful content, but seemed to have inadvertently affected innocent creators who became more susceptible to demonetization and were being promoted less in favor of mainstream media.
Adpocalypse.
The key word there being algorithm, the YouTube algorithm. The
Yep.
notorious YouTube algorithm is YouTube's system for recommending content to its users.
That's
it controls
right.
everything that you see on the site, from what's trending to what you see on your homepage and even your search results. And over the years, it's developed quite a controversial reputation for how it dictates the content you see, but more specifically, the content that people make. You don't
That's right. The algorithm it's a hate-love relationship, and let me talk about the shit that I hate first, because I think that algorithm is actually really good. What I hate about the algorithm is how YouTube is not a place to be making videos about the things that you actually enjoy. And what do I mean by that? Whenever you think that you're trying to appease the algorithm or that you're trying to make videos for the algorithm, don't think of it like that. Think about it in terms of, replace the word algorithm with users. You are making videos for users, your community, your audience. In the niche that I'm in, specifically for anime reactions, I could start watching random episodes of Yowamushi Pedal, an anime about competitive bicycling. But my audience doesn't give a fuck about that. What I personally want does not matter, because I'm a servant. I am here to serve you content that you want to see. And you can obviously say, you know what? Just say fuck the audience. Just make what you want to watch. And okay, sure. But that's not really going to pay the bills. YouTube rewards you for, you know, delivering videos to an audience as accurately as possible. And the more that your interests are aligned with the audience, the more, you know, creative freedom there is. It's not as if every video I make, I hate making it. No, far from it. All the shit that we're watching right now, I really enjoy. It's just that there are some shows that I'd love to cover. I just can't, because I know that you guys don't care about it, right? There is that, you know, creative, you know, restriction there. And, you know, while there's a lot to be said to be displeased with the algorithm, there's also no other place where you can grow like on YouTube with nothing. I have no networking. I've never received a shout out to help me grow in a significant way. I started YouTube while holding down a day job, knowing nothing about the YouTube, you know, game, and just started pumping videos out. And the better I understood that I had to make videos for my audience and to create a community and compound off of that, I was able to grow with the algorithm. You can't do that in a lot of platforms. You can't do that on Twitch, by the way. In order to grow on Twitch, you need to grow on a different platform and bring other people over to Twitch. The algorithm actually is, I don't want to say the best representation of meritocracy, but the way that the algorithm even exists allows you to grow without having, like, you don't have to be anybody. You can be a random dude just making content, and if the content is good, the recommendation system will push that video to an audience that aligns with that content. So again, it's really a hate-love relationship, but I do truly appreciate that someone like me, a nobody that had nothing to start, just fucking yapping about anime, was able to grow to this point because the recommendation system exists.
You don't have to browse YouTube for long to notice that any video or format that works is widely replicated. YouTube has developed this culture.
Yeah, meta, right? And you know the whole Mr. Beastification of content. You know why everyone's doing the same shit? Because it rewards them. Because whatever's really big, you know, people see the similar type of formatting or packaging, and they think that, oh, they're more inclined to click it. For example, let's say like, do you know why everyone is copying Sword Art Online in terms of, you know, anime content of how their main character looks like? because it was successful. A successful example that's easily noticeable by other people so that you can leech off of that too. That's why sometimes this algorithm also doesn't really lead to innovation because everyone is trying to make the same type of thumbnails, the same type of content because it's a working formula.
YouTube has developed this culture where a lot of successful channels will make similar videos, partly because they know it'll work. They know the algorithm favors certain types of videos, and so they capitalize on it. And so what you get nowadays is a lot of the same and less innovation on the platform.
Yes, because why would you bother gambling? Some people will try to innovate. They'll try to pioneer something. But most people want to stick to comfort, look at a working formula and just copy that. It's just way easier, it pays the bills.
But this just isn't the kind of environment that Ryan Higa thrives in because it is in his DNA to be different.
For me, more than anything, I like to do something that's different. For me, the best videos and what I strive for every week is coming up with a message that I want to say and tell it in a different way.
I think I would want my legacy to be around like being on the side of trying to do different things, even at the cost of like being awful or being wrong.
I mean, this is obvious enough just by looking at all the different styles of videos in his catalog, but even with his energy drink, Ryan acknowledges that he wanted to create something different and didn't want to compete with the likes of major brands like Red Bull.
Cool.
I wanted to find something that was different because I didn't want to compete with Red Bull because I'm realistic.
So given this mentality, I can understand why he might have said things like this.
Seeing the kind of content that was suddenly at the top of the food chain, I was subconsciously, I think, getting a little frustrated with YouTube and getting really just bitter, I guess, with what YouTube had become.
But this isn't just about what was happening around him. This has to do with Ryan's personal creative ambitions as well. When a YouTuber discovers a format that works for them, the obvious thing to do is to keep doing it, make more of those types of videos. But Ryan's goals have always been based on doing things differently from his past work and improving on it.
Putting out stuff I've done or stuff that I'm not proud of, I realized that doesn't bring me happiness. Yeah. I felt like I was like doing a formula, and I just...
Something that works and keep pumping out that content, he hates doing that. He wants something else. So he tries to innovate. But here's the thing, right? And there's a lot of selfishness contained in this ideology, and there's nothing wrong with being selfish like this. Ryan wants to create innovating content, and he wants to keep challenging himself. And sometimes that content will fall flat. But why did it fall flat? Because the content didn't resonate with the audience. So does that mean that the video was actually good? Here's the thing. I truly do still believe that if you make good content, then you will be rewarded by it through that finding that audience. If your audience but now is looking at that content and they don't enjoy it, is it YouTube fucking you over for punishing you with creativity because you try to do something different? Or is it the fact that you did something different and it didn't align with the audience? What if you did something different and it did align with the audience? You know what I'm saying? Like, again, I really don't want to play defense for YouTube and say that Ryan is being like a loser right now by having this mindset of like, oh, the algorithm has dropped me because I am an innovator and I try to do something so different. But I feel like there's going to be hits and misses no matter how much you try to innovate. And I don't know if his content always popped off back in the day, right? By constantly changing his topics, maybe he was way more successful back in the day. But I guess now, right? I guess now it's the fact that the audience has definitely changed since back then. The way that the YouTube algorithm recommends, content makes people kind of like primed to a specific style of content. And if you try to deviate from that style, you will get punished, I think I understand that.
I got tired of doing the same formula.
I was like, man, I keep making these same skits. I know people like them and people think they're smart, but I'm so sick of it. Like, not that I don't want to make skits anymore.
That is like basically every Hoyoverse content creator that are stuck with Genshin Impact or Honkai Star Rail only, bro. You know what's the worst thing ever? When you can only get views because of one specific topic, one specific game, and you don't even like that game or topic, you're just forced to make content on it because the audience that you have right now only cares about that topic. That is a true prison cell, bro. Of course, they're going to make a lot of money doing it, but still, imagine every day being forced to make content around a game or a topic that you don't really care about, but just because your audience cares about that shit, you're forced to do it. That's a scenario that I definitely would never want to happen. That's why I try so much diverse content. Even, of course, like even a video like this, that's just a job for most people. Yeah, but here's the thing. The whole point of doing content creation is for the creative aspect for it, right? The job for most people definitely is a reality. You pursued content creation because you wanted to do something different. It's really tricky. It really is tricky trying to balance like your personal interest and what your audience wants and some sort of compromise in between. And for a fact, I know that videos like this will probably not do that well in my channel. But I still pursue these videos fully knowing that this shit won't resonate with the rest of my anime reaction content because I don't want to be siloed into a hole. I'll always take the risk of trying new shit out to diversify my content to become so variety that people watch me for my personality based on anything that I cover rather than a specific thing.
I got so tired of doing the same thing.
I missed creating new things that I haven't done, and like the feeling of like growth and like doing more and improving, the want to always evolve. To me, that's what I always enjoyed in content.
And to a lot of people, this will probably feel so entitled and privileged, right? This is like a guy that's complaining that he had to make another skit at the same format, which would rake in thousands of dollars. He's just making millions just by making these skits, while you have to work your day job and, you know, suffer through the monotonous of it, right? While not even getting paid the same amount. But what you have to realize is that there's different types of problems for different types of people. Once your materialistic needs are met and you don't have to worry about the bills, there's a different set of problems that happens. It's on a psychological, mental level. It's the feeling of like, what am I doing with my life? That happens for everybody too, but especially if you're at this guy's stage. And yes, money's not an issue, but the fact that what he does every day, he's like stuck in like a prison cell of like being rewarded for doing the same shit that he doesn't enjoy, but, you know, trying something new that could be fascinating to him would get him punished for that, right? So it's just like people get depressed when you're doing the same shit over and over and you have no creative outlet. You need to have like, you need to change things up a bit. You need to like get out of some sort of habit, some sort of cycle and make things, you know, fresh and new, or else everybody will experience this, right? You will just get so depressed by doing the same shit over and over.
So as YouTube was becoming more algorithmic and formulaic, I can see why this might have introduced obstacles into Ryan's creative process. It's no longer just about putting out good content that you like to make. Nowadays, your videos need to be...
You need to make good content that you like to make that also resonates with your audience. That's the most important part. And if you don't make videos that resonates with your audience, then like you're fucking up though. And like obviously because I'm like starting recently, I have this firm notion that you must be a servant. You must bow to your, you know, audience and give them what they want, or else you're fucking up. Something about this feels like very egocentric and like complaining and whining about something that I think could be easily solved if you just try new shit. It's not as if everything new shit you try won't align with your audience. But like, I don't know. I feel like he should keep trying. If money's not the issue, just fucking keep trying until, you know, something resonates and great, and go off of that.
Long enough, they need to keep people watching. The title and thumbnail have to be clickable. And if you find a format that satisfies the algorithm, you'd be a damn fool not to exploit it for all it's worth.
Yeah.
Today, YouTube is like this game where if you want to win, then you have to play by this set of rules.
Exactly. This is a game. You need to understand the rule set to play this game. Do you know what, or else do you know what happens? You have me for my first 2 years of content creation, covering random fucking animes because I thought that's what people wanted based off of trends. But guess what? All you're doing is fragmenting your audience of people coming in, and you're just slowing down your growth. You're wasting everyone's time, including yourself.
And if you don't, then it's like you're swimming against the current and eventually you're gonna get washed away. And unfortunately, this is what happened to Ryan. Ryan is someone who I'd describe as a YouTube purist. Someone whose #1 priority is the quality of his content and doesn't really care about the numbers, the business, and...
But if the quality of the content is that good, why can it not find the audience? That's what I'm really like confused about. And I really respect Ryan Higa, and I really don't want to be negative towards this mindset. But something about this feels like loser mindset of like, wah, I want to try new shit. I make good quality videos, but because the YouTube algorithm works, my videos won't get views. Was your video actually that good though? That's a question to ask. I don't know. I feel like If it was truly that good, it would find it. Yeah, like exactly. Just blaming the algorithm kind of feels a bit too simplistic for this issue.
Definitely not the algorithm.
For the longest time, I tried to fight that system.
I was the creator who didn't want to have to worry about business.
It was never really about the numbers and stuff.
I didn't take into consideration any of that stuff, watch time and labeling it and tags. I didn't care about being number one.
By the way, tags don't do anything on YouTube. Please stop telling me to put anime reaction tag or you're gonna get more views. Shut the fuck up. Tags don't do shit. Even YouTube themselves came out and said tags don't do anything for search engine optimization.
One or whatever it was. I just wanted to keep the people that were watching happy. I'm just trying to do the things I want to do, even if it's not necessary.
Here's the thing. If you actually cared, here's the part.
I wanted to keep the people that were watching happy.
Keep the people watching happy. That means you're serving the audience. You're giving them what they want. If you are making quality content for the audience that you know and you're making them happy, they'll keep clicking onto the videos and keep watching it. This is the thing that doesn't make sense to me. And why I feel like this again, I really don't want to blame Ryan for this, but something about this just feels off. If you understand your audience and you want to keep them happy and you make good content for that audience, then wouldn't it do well? Is this a case of this guy thinking that his creative way of making videos, even though he thought it was quality, maybe it wasn't? And not in terms of production value, but in terms of getting that audience that you have already.
I'm just trying to do the things I want to do, even if it's not necessarily the thing that fits the algorithm best.
But the algorithm is the audience. The algorithm is the audience, though. I genuinely believe that Ryan, and here's another thing with the OG YouTubers. Your audience grew up. And I don't know what kind of content he used to make back in the day because I didn't watch all of his videos. But here's an example. And I'm not saying that Ryan made videos like this all the time. If you make videos for kids and all you're doing is just hyping shit up and screaming and loud, noises and quick edits, do you think that audience after 5-10 years is still gonna watch you? They grow up. They change. The audience grows up. I think this case is not that his videos, he's getting punished for his creativity, but rather him not understanding who his audience is even anymore. So much time has passed, so much different things have changed throughout, YouTube as a platform in terms of algorithm changes and whatnot. I don't think he's in tune with his own audience as he actually thinks he is. And that's really audacious for me to say. But this is coming from a guy who struggled growing on YouTube by covering so much different shit that I wanted to do, but not catering towards an audience for forming that community. And the moment that I catered toward the community and focused on audience community building, everything changed in terms of the recommendation system.
He could only do this for so long until it eventually caught up to him.
The algorithm had switched where you need to create more content, not less. Even if it's better, you need longer and more content.
I mean, it's just a fact that if you publish more videos and it's longer and they're actually good and your audience is watching it, yeah, you're gonna succeed more compared to a guy making one video a month. I mean, that just makes sense to me.
The kind of content I made wasn't sustainable in that way.
The videos got crazier, the times it took to make it got longer. It would take a hit on your income because you're not posting. I started posting some of the videos that I wanted to post and I felt the consequences. I mean, I saw the views drop.
And here's the thing. This is just poor business strategy, right? Because there needs to be a delicate balance of the amount of investment you're putting in towards a project, the project right now being the video, and how sustainable it is. And this is the best part about reaction content. Reaction content is so fucking scalable and there's literally no money put in to make the content. Of course, there's some setup start of having a webcam, having a mic, having a PC, that's it. Other than the anime reactions, which I sent to my editor, Sir Gregor, to edit, these videos right now, I'm doing one take. Look at Asmongold's channel too. Bro's getting 100 million views per month by reacting just like me. Well, I shouldn't say just like me. I copy his formula actually. Because reaction content is just one take. There's not much edits that needs to be done. Of course, for his channel, he actually gets his editor to, edit that shit. But reaction content is so scalable. It just fits this modern strategy of YouTube algorithm in a nutshell. It's fucking perfect.
the dislikes go up.
But I was just like so over it at that point. That was like a breaking point for me. I was so over. I was like, I'm either gonna quit or I need to change what I need to do.
So here he is now, over
Yeah, here's another thing. There's multiple channels that publish one highly produced videos for a few months, and each video is doing crazy numbers regardless of how time between them. Here's another thing, right? YouTube documentation also states this, but like obviously consistency isn't even that important. Publishing one banger video every like 3 months, it's a valid strategy. Vsauce, for example. Here's another one. Completely off topic. Mother's Basement. Dude, Mother's Basement? How often does he post videos? Not that often, right? Once every month or so, right? A couple times a month, or it seems like it. But this is a channel where he does really well. Like I think that like even Mr. Beast, for example, right? Maybe Mr. Beast is the best example for this in terms of like upload schedule. Bro uploads, he doesn't even have a schedule. Sometimes there's a bunch of months that happens before, right? It's like one video per month or something. And because there's so much investment in terms of like understanding what his audience wants, he's able to provide high quality content. Mark Robert? Who is that? There's another one. Mark Robert. Who is this guy? 61 million? What the fuck? That's crazy. Anyways, I'm trying to basically tell you a couple different examples of channels like, channels like, Mr. Beast, or I don't know, like other channels that have
If this subscriber can be Renault.
Jesus Christ, Mr. Oh my God, it's so fucking loud. That was actually a jump scare. But what I'm trying to tell you is like, you can have Asmongold, right? You can have Asmongold who's uploading like every other hour and like pretty much 3-hour intervals actually, which is what I do too. Or you can have highly scripted videos for quality and do that too. Like there's different ways to succeed on YouTube. You're not forced to like publish every day. You don't really get punished or rewarded for publishing every day. It matters what kind of videos are you publishing? How much does that resonate with that audience? How long do they watch for?
over a decade since he started. And YouTube's changed. Now it's about gaming the system. It's about numbers, business, money. You got corporations out here stealing all your revenue by making copyright claims on any video with copyrighted music. You have creators being exploited by companies, like the fallout between Smosh and their old parent company Defy Media, which almost costed them their channel. You're living in a climate where you can't feel comfortable broadcasting yourself, because if you do, you might offend somebody, or better.
I mean, I broadcast myself pretty well. Like, I'm not really worried about people getting offended. That's just gonna happen. This is just reality. So you can decide to be like, all right, I'll be myself, or I won't be myself in fear of what other might think of me.
You might offend somebody, or better yet, it could cost you your career. Look at someone like Jenna Marbles, who in 2020 was essentially exiled from the platform for a video that she made in 2011. PewDiePie has had his fair.
Oh yeah, the blackface, you know, yeah. Basically, this is an issue with OG YouTubers because of the political landscape that's changed. Like, bro, people throwing slurs back in 2010s were so common. It was the most common thing. Now, obviously, now people are looking through your old tweets and shit and trying to cancel you for that.
PewDiePie has had his fair share of cancel culture related incidents. These are Ryan's peers, the people that he came up with. Does it look like things are getting much better for them? But for a lot of the...
I mean, I don't think it needs to get better for them because they're all assuming they know how to fucking invest money and be financially literate. They don't have to worry about financial gains anymore. They're all doing fucking well with their life. Now it's all about finding, you know, a passion, some fulfillment in your lives.
Like things are getting much better for them. But for a lot of the new people coming in, this is all they know. They recognize YouTube as a job opportunity more than they do a craft or...
This is me. This is exactly who he's talking about.
An art form. This is how the culture has changed. So if you were to put yourself in Ryan's shoes, what would you do?
If I were to put myself in Ryan's shoes, what would I do? I'd probably start a new fucking channel or something. And I would try to figure out what I want to do, make content around that, create a new audience based off of that, and build off that audience and make videos that I want to make. That's literally what I'm doing right now.
I liked how YouTube was. Everybody could see great content, when you typed in youtube.com. Now it doesn't really mean anything. It feels like people are either talking to you because they want something from you or something for their business rather than actually getting to meet you.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with trying to sell a service or a product. It's all about the value, and why would people even buy those things? Because there's actually value in it. Has it become a lot more gamified in terms of, trying to produce revenue? Absolutely, compared to back in the day. Is that inherently evil or bad? Not really.
Became about watch time.
What's the point if everything gets like age restricted? I don't want to get.
Then make content that doesn't get age restricted. Maybe the jokes that you're saying is actually outlandish. Like, age restriction hardly ever happens in my channel, despite the amount that I swear so much. Like, I'm really interested to know, like, exactly what kind of jokes are you making?
Get demonetized. Probably like half my videos got claimed.
The YouTube grind is endless. I've been burnt out for like years.
For so long, I was just making stuff because I knew it would work versus like something I got excited about.
With the podcast, I wanted to be doing this, like speaking like me. I wanted to just show that side of me. But I also, in taking that jump, didn't keep in mind like, okay, what are the repercussions of this going to be? It felt like I was doing something wrong because it wasn't getting the same kind of.
Yeah, because the people who grew up with your content does not care about random fucking topics like this. This is the thing, right? You can't just pivot like that and expect your audience to stick around. Like you're giving, like, why are you surprised? This is not the algorithm punishing you. This is your audience leaving you because you're fundamentally making content that has nothing to do with what people subscribe for. I feel like, am I taking crazy pills? Am I the bad person right now? Victim blaming? I just feel like there's a disconnect here between him and the audience that he's garnered over this decade. People have changed, people have grown up. You are now fundamentally changing your content. Why are you surprised that people are leaving? I think it's not that big of a surprise. It makes a lot of sense to me.
Just showed that side of me, but I also, in taking that jump, didn't keep in mind like, okay, what are the repercussions of this going to be? It felt like I was doing something wrong because it wasn't getting the same kind of views. I tried to change.
In order to, change that, I'd probably just start like a different channel where it'd be like, all right, guys, I'm going to do some other type of content, podcast related content about diverse topics. I know that a lot of you don't care about that because you stick around for funny jokes, memes, and skits and shit like that, but I'm gonna be over here, and then I guarantee you some people actually do care about topic like that, and you can scale that up as that channel's identity becomes more diverse commentary around different, topics that you find interesting.
Who I was and tried to get views and getting, famous people on the podcast, and it would get views, but it still didn't feel like something I originally set out to do. That's why I was like, okay, I need to chill and like rethink a lot of stuff.
I had to change something. Either I was gonna stop doing it, or I had to do something else. I just tried something new. I just started like Twitch streaming. I just kept doing it.
Yeah, now he's streaming on Twitch and playing Valorant and having fun. He's looking like he's doing a lot better there now.
Pretty much the same way I start YouTube, and I think that's why I like enjoy it, because it's like learning completely different things. It's such a new thing, and it's such a different schedule from my everyday for the past like.
That's right. And when you do something new, when you change the landscape, right, it feels fulfilling. Something fresh. You're learning a new skill. You're growing something new. That brings fulfillment.
Decade. It's been such a long time since I was excited about something. I wake up wanting to do it. I haven't felt that from anything YouTube related in a long time. If you're gonna go live for like sometimes 12 hours a day.
12 hours?
Well, you're being yourself, Tim. You're being yourself. I have been saying that like Twitch feels like old YouTube, where it feels like a lot of people are genuinely just supportive and friends.
This is also very naive in my opinion. And again, I hate feeling like I'm talking down to a person who's reached success in content creation beyond anything that I'll ever have in my lifetime. But I think I have definitely some merit in what I say because of when he started doing content and the different strategies that he's doing now, drastically different versus me coming in recently. Twitch is no different. How many times do you have a person that's, let's go back to the Hoyoverse example. You have Genshin Impact streamers, Honkai Star Rail streamers, or even like the Kuro games for Wuthering Waves, right? You're tied to one fucking game and they only watch you for that. I guarantee you, if Ryan had an audience of only Genshin Impact watchers and he was streaming that content and he felt sick of it and wanted to try something else, his his viewership would fall drastically. It would be nothing different from YouTube. It's because you're serving the content that your audience wants. If you don't understand what your audience wants, then you can't be surprised when shit goes down, right? Like, I mean, of course you're gonna be surprised, but like the take here that Twitch is different, it's like old YouTube, I don't think so. It feels like that to him right now because everything is fresh and he's having this new audience form and watching him for him. But I guarantee you, he's gonna have the same fucking problem as he realizes that, you know, some games or some topics do a way better for stream content. And the moment that you try something else that doesn't align with what your audience wants, but to what you personally want, the view.
Oh, 3, 2.
I'm sorry. This is very wholesome, very emotional. I'm here to talk about the fucking algorithm. I'm trying to talk about business strategy. I'm not trying to watch a fucking emotional sob story like montage right now.
This video isn't just about Ryan Higa, but I think his story highlights an underlying problem with YouTube. It is unfortunate that a guy who helped pioneer the platform and who built a whole career off of being himself got to a point where he felt like he could no longer do that in a sustainable way. Because to be successful on YouTube nowadays, you have to be able to adapt to however the platform changes. And
I feel like I've never been restricted in the things that I want to say on YouTube. Genuinely. And I say some outlandish things. There's obviously some things you can never say. Like, TOS is actually pretty valid. Don't fucking use slurs. No hate speech. Don't fucking, you know, try to incite violence. Don't do like a call to action for violence and stuff like that. Like, I genuinely have never felt restricted in the type of content or the commentary that I want to provide.
And find a balance between what you want to make and what you know will work, even if that means having to compromise on your own creative integrity by giving in to the algorithm.
And here's the thing. This entitlement, I think, is valid as a creator wanting to have freedom to be able to make what you want to watch. But you got to realize, you don't own YouTube. This is not yours. This is a platform you're borrowing. And the platform's best interest is to appease the advertisers to get the whole fucking business running. In order to do that, they have optimized, you know, this friendly guidelines to make sure that things that are being published are advertiser friendly, and that like it is also an algorithm system that really, you know, the recommendation system that really rewards audience and community building. And for sure, there is a lot of like negative things about YouTube. One of the things that I really hate is how copyright strike systems is so easily abused that YouTube don't even care about, you know, the creators that's bringing money for them and are always willing to shoot first and ask questions later. You're guilty until proven innocent. But there's also a lot of great things about YouTube, and I personally have never felt any type of struggles in terms of highlighting my personality and the commentary that I want to provide on any type of topic. And the best example right now I think I could give for someone that's doing this on a greater scale is Asmongold. Listen to the shit he's saying. I don't think that you can possibly say that YouTube is like suppressing his viewpoints, because the shit he says is sometimes fucking crazy, yet he's still monetized and doing perfectly fine. I think there's an over-exaggeration being made right now in terms of the whole adpocalypse, the demonetization, being forced to, you know, be restricted. Like, what kind of jokes, what are you trying to actually fucking say? I genuinely don't understand, you know, what kind of topics that he's trying to say that could have got him age restricted or stuff like that. And here's another thing, right? Actually, what was I gonna say? And topics in terms of the recommendation system again, right? Back in the day, again, I think this case is so different for Ryan because he did this shit from OG YouTube back in 2006. Audiences change over time. The algorithm and the platform changes over time. But at the end of the day, if you are making videos for your audience, nobody like me can grind and, you know, start getting, what are we averaging right now with both channels combined? 1.34 mil on the main channel with 200K on the second channel. We're getting around 1.5 million views per month right now, to the point where I can do this full time with the help on Twitch and Patreon as well. Like, there's so many good things about the YouTube recommendation system that I actually speak a lot of. Of course, there's the restriction of the creative aspect. I can't just cover whatever I want to cover. But as long as you're making videos for your audience, and if your true intent was making good quality videos that you want your audience to watch, then you would have no struggle in growing on YouTube. But because Ryan is making content that is so fundamentally different to the audience that he's built up over a decade, with the audience also changing for a long time and suddenly pivoting into random shit about fucking debates about ADHD and, you know, homosexuality and whatever, compared to the fun memes and gags and skits that he was doing back in the past, it's not surprising to me that he's quote unquote fell off.
These days, it seems as though taking risk, innovating, and doing things that are different is discouraged on YouTube. And that's not good. Because
Yeah, the innovation part, I do fundamentally agree with that, right? There's definitely this factor of like, a working formula will always work. And if you try to drastically change your content to do something so creative, maybe you thought it was going to work really well, but also maybe your audience doesn't like that kind of content, right? Your style. So now, are you being punished for being creative? Not necessarily. You're being punished because what you thought was creative and innovative didn't align with the audience. You can still do something creative and innovative and still appease that audience and grow that way. There's a mismatch here in some sort of logic.
Anything, any niche, any industry, whatever, anything that people care about is only as good as the newest generation to embrace it. So if current and future generations of YouTubers remain bounded by this algorithm, then I feel like that's taking the you out of YouTube.
I genuinely don't give a fuck, because this recommendation system and the algorithm and me understanding the rule set has allowed me to grow to 1.5 mil per fucking month. I am actually so appreciative of the algorithm in that sense. Like, I understand what this guy's trying to say. I do. That there is definitely this factor of discouraging, you know, completely new, wacky new shit you're doing. But the focus is the audience. Remove the word algorithm. Focus on audience. You're not making videos for the algorithm. You're not making videos to appease the algorithm. You're making videos to appease your audience. And I think it's a very fair system. On any social media other than TikTok, TikTok has a separate algorithm where it's actually crazy the amount of reach that you can get on TikTok. But TikTok is also not a really place for community building. But let's say on Twitch, right? You can't do this shit on Twitch. You can never grow on Twitch. There is no recommendation system. You're gonna be fucking streaming to a void if you think that just streaming the popular game for, you know, popular trending game is suddenly gonna get you 10K views. No. But at least on YouTube, you have the recommendation system through the algorithm that actually allows you to grow without being anybody.
Now, I understand that this isn't an easy problem to solve because times have changed, people have changed, and you know, many of YouTube's changes over the years may have been necessary to get it to where it is today. But I'm convinced that this problem is one worth solving if YouTube's mission really is to give everyone a voice. And
giving everyone a voice, like how do I say this in a respectful way? Is this guy implying that like anybody should be able to just yap about whatever they want and get millions of views? Because again, I really believe meritocracy exists on YouTube. I genuinely do. You know what I mean? Like, everyone does have a voice. It's just that you're not gonna get fucking rewarded for that. Because what you say may not align with the audience that exists on YouTube that cares about your content. Like, I think that I have a voice. And my audience is, and my community is proof of that. And because what I say matters to my community, we can keep building this on. Like, I just feel like there's a disconnect here in the sense of like understanding the algorithm and the community building process. And I feel like this guy just assumes that the algorithm is just like some sort of machine god that just chooses on a whim, this video will get views, but this video won't because you didn't copy the exact style. I don't think that's how that works, because again, I publish fucking 8 videos a day on average. I've been doing this shit for fucking 3 years, and I have an understanding of when my voice didn't matter and when my voice did matter. And all the change that happened when I focused on talking to the exact audience that existed watching my videos, rather than chasing random fucking trends.
And show them the world. I just don't know how much YouTube truly wants you to hear and see. Because over the past 5 years or so, the discourse over where YouTube is at and where it's currently headed has been controversial, to say the least. I don't know if removing dislikes was a positive for the platform.
That's fucking stupid. I hate the dislike removing feature. I have to have a separate extension to show the dislikes.
I don't know if ruining the user experience by banning ad blockers was good for the platform. I don't know if an emphasis on YouTube Shorts or showing me ads when my video is paused is good for the platform.
It is good for the platform in terms of milking ad revenue. Is it good for the users though? Will the users be discouraged and leave the platform? And now, because you're trying to milk the revenue too much, now your platform is, might die because people are leaving. Okay. Yeah, that's valid.
But what I do know is this. Creators like Ryan Higa, people who consistently innovate, push boundaries, broadcast themselves, the kinds of creators who built this platform into what it is today, make YouTube better. So if YouTube wants to remain the better platform for sharing videos, then they need to be better for these kinds of creators and ensure that they can thrive on their platform. But right
again, I really feel like there's a misunderstanding of why Ryan Higa quote unquote fell off. Fundamental different case study where he did this shit in 2006 with an audience that was young and that was impressionable, watching his memes and skits and random, videos that was so zany and fun. As they grow up, and now with Ryan making different type of content that's not even adhering to that same audience, why are you surprised that he's being dropped? But he's clearly being successful right now with a separate channel, right? He's clearly, building a different channel by having, new videos that aligns with that audience, right?
now, I'm not so sure that that's their main focus. And maybe it shouldn't be. Because as Javed Karim, co-founder of YouTube, once said, in business, there's only one thing more important than make it better, and that's...
don't fuck it up. Yeah, that's true. Is that it? And that's it. Listen. I respect Ryan Higa a lot. I acknowledge that in terms of content creation, the success that he's had, the numbers that he's reached, I will never reach a fraction of that. Far from it. But here's what I do have. A track record of not being able to grow for the first 2 years of content creation, and finally now being able to grow because I focused on studying the game of the algorithm, studying about what other people are saying, and realizing that it's all about community building. And here's a pattern of behavior which I've seen from a lot of other people too. As long as people focus on building the audience that they have and building off of that, you can innovate. You can try different types of content. And as long as it aligns with what your audience wants, it will get the views. This notion that creativity and innovation will suddenly just get you no views is fraudulent. That's just a fucking lie. Now, if you try something new and that topic, that new strategy, new content didn't align with your immediate audience, why are you surprised that it's not doing well? I think it makes a lot of sense to me why it wouldn't do well. Regarding the, the voice for you, this is a different thing too, right? Where it's just like, should YouTube literally just have what? Your expectation is give everyone a voice and show them to the world. So you're saying everyone should be able to just, yap about a random fucking video. It offers no value. There's no substance. People are just fucking chatting about some random topic that there's no audience for. And you expect the views to go there? I don't know. I feel like, again, YouTube and the algorithm that exists right now has given me a voice. A nobody that have no connections, no nothing, by simply understanding the recommendation system and building an audience off of that. If anything, this is the most valid example of this mission being true. Not everybody, but it's given me. And you're gonna say survival bias. Yeah, of course, it's fucking survivorship bias. I'm the one that survived because I understood the game and how to play this. So who do you want to listen to? A person that's fucking survived by understanding the algorithm? Or a person that doesn't know what they're doing and is just whining about shit falling off, even though the answers are right in front of you? Again, I have tremendous love and respect for Ryan Higa, and I'm not hating on this guy that made the video too, by the way. I'm just talking from my personal experiences and how I disagree with the fact that this changes by appeasing the machine god, the algorithm. No, it's about community building. It's about audience building off of the audience that you had. And it's no surprise to me that someone that's been in the game for so fucking long with an audience that's grown up and the type of content he's made, I don't think he's in tune with this audience. I think it is a complete mismatch of what's happening, and it's not a very fair assessment of why Ryan Higa has been apparently failed by YouTube. But that's just my take. Please go check out Mr. Jaden Wong's channel. Here's a video. Here's a link. And please, go check his channel and support them. This is a great video to watch, and I'll see you next time.